Hey up viewers and viewers, my name is John Red Strategist. Welcome back to The Forest with me and Phil joining me via Skype. How are you doing there, Phil?
The Forestio,
The
which is of course
Forestio.
Italian for forest. No, not at all Italian for
Yeah,
forest.
it isn't, is it?
Um,
Yes, well, we're back here in this game. So, me and you recorded an episode way back in like September last year, which as of the
and
moment,
it's now
record this,
May of this
yeah,
year.
and
Yeah.
I still haven't uploaded it, so I'll have to do that very quickly at some point. And now we'll do some more. So, this is one of those lovely little games that kind of lends itself very well, I think, to a nice podcast style episode.
Having a
we're just
little
playing.
chat.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
a
what it
little,
is.
a little chinwag and a little natter, indeed.
Well, funnily enough, I have actually. I thought I'd mention this. Recently, I had actually watched our forest episode where we had a look at the creative mode.
Oh, really?
Which I think was an hour long. We looked
do
at
you
it,
remember
about
that?
59
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a look at the creative mode where you get unlimited access to items, and we created our own pirate island
That's the one, yeah. I remember that now. Yeah,
with a
it was good,
tavern
that.
and a
Indeed.
That was fantastic. So we had a look at the creative mode, just taking a look at what it was all about.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. I mean, this game, it's probably been through so many updates since I last played it that there's probably all kinds of new stuff. Which
Oh, absolutely. There's
yeah.
always new stuff in it. Yeah, and it was fun
Indeed.
to see that, to build our own pirate island.
Yeah.
And get that done.
Indeed. Yes. So, how's life treating you at the moment, then, Phil? Everything going good?
Yeah, it's always having another recording session, as we like to do, and the forest was one of the ones that we've picked. Well, the wheels picked, should I say? But it's another fantastic little survival game that we've always liked to play. The little survival games that allow you to. There's all sorts of different settings for them.
Yeah.
And in this one, they've got the horrible cannibals that never give up on searching and hunting for you.
Yes.
That's the thing about this game.
Aye, yeah. Old Timmy is missing as usual, but we all know how he kind of ends up.
Yeah, you did the full
Yes.
story playthrough, didn't you?
I did,
Yeah, quite a while.
My second season of The Forest, indeed.
Yeah.
It was an interesting little storyline that it had there. Speaking of cannibals, I think I see someone moving up there. Or is that just...
So we've got our first indication of a cannibal coming.
Is that a cannibal, or am I seeing things? Oh no, it might be leaves on a tree. God, it was like... I was looking at it, I was seeing legs. It was like, Jesus. But no. It was like
last
Jesus.
time I checked, leaves didn't have legs.
I know. It was just the shape of it, I think.
Yeah.
And the perspective on it as well. It looked like it was in the distance, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's when your mind's playing tricks on you, when you're paranoid that something's
About
gonna
this.
come
Well,
leaping
I mean, the
out.
cannibals are not nice buggers on this.
They're not.
'Cause
No.
They'll keep coming
Ooh.
after you.
Okay, those are cannibals up there, unmistakably. Two of them right in the centre of the screen there. What are they?
I know
up
that
to?
you can get a better axe in this game,
Yeah.
because the one you've got is the aeroplane axe
Yeah.
that you get at the start of the game when you crash land.
I can't
Oh,
tell
God,
if
there
they've
are
seen
cannibals,
me.
yeah.
I can't tell if they've seen me or not, or if they're just advancing generally in this direction.
I think they're advancing because they have scouts, don't they, that climb the
Yeah.
trees and everything to try and get you.
Yes.
Or try
Uh-oh.
to. Ooh,
I
God.
think they've seen me. Yeah. They just seem to be. Yeah. They've seen me.
They've definitely seen you now.
Yeah, they have.
You're going to chop them up.
I'm gonna have to chop them up. Yeah. Otherwise, there's that whole thing about they might send bad
God.
guys
Oh,
after you.
God. I tell you what, that is bloody.
It is bloody, isn't
Yeah.
it? You come
Bloody
here.
riot. Yeah, oh, no, he's got. Oh, no. Don't. No, you're not going to call your mates.
Get out of here. You ain't
That's
getting
it,
away
get
from me.
God, this axe does do some damage.
It does, doesn't it?
Mind you, this
Right,
guy's
watch
not really
out,
fighting back, is he?
No.
Is he? But I know
He's
there's
just a normal
the
scout dude.
thing about this game is you sort of get a second chance.
Yeah.
If the cannibals get you, there is a chance that's it, game over, you're dead. But there is another chance they will take you away to their cave,
Yeah.
and then you get a
That's
second chance.
true.
You've got to try and escape. Yeah,
Indeed.
but inside the cave is the more difficult monsters, like the vagina one.
The vagina monster. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other ones. So it can be difficult to escape. But you
I
do
forget,
get that second chance.
Yeah, I forget that he's the big legsy monster is often referred to as the old vagina monster. I always forgot about that.
Yeah, that's
Quite
funny as
something,
well.
eh? Yeah.
Obviously, there is, I don't know, there is rumours and works of the sequel for this, Sons of the Forest, I think it's called,
Yeah.
which is a more different sort of aspect. It's where you're part of the military.
Really? Right.
Yeah, you're part of the military and you land on this island, and you've got to. I think it's got more of a storyline to it. It's not as much a survival as this game, I think.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Indeed. Just happily burning these bodies, Phil, just so I can try and
What?
get some bones from them.
Oh, do you get bones from them?
Yeah,
Right.
because I
Oh,
think because I remember correctly, you can use the bones to get the bone armor. There are birds flying into the middle of this fire. What are they doing?
they
Flipping
are
birds.
sacrificing themselves.
Yeah,
That's what they're
sacrificial
doing.
birds. Yeah.
Sacrificial birds throwing
I will
themselves
need
in.
to. Oh, well, one of them's done. There we go. Get all the
Well, it's good because
bones.
it's definitely because since I watched the that forest episode where we looked at the creative mode, the differences in the amount of lag that was on on your computer
Oh
then.
yeah, definitely.
Because that was a long time ago.
My
Yeah.
PC can now actually handle it, which
Very
is
well as well. Well, I mean, you did Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and that's very graphically intense.
true. Yeah,
Uh,
quite something, eh? Yeah, but that's the thing. Maybe I should come back and do another full playthrough of a game like this. Well, I say that, but I've got a lot of series ongoing on the channel as well at the
yeah,
moment.
and plus you've already done 2 playthroughs. I don't.
Yeah.
We know this general just the storyline. We just want to have a look at the survival aspects.
Yeah. So, maybe this is best left as a kind of occasional thing, which me and you
Yeah.
can do as of
And
when the
good
wheel
chat
picks
about.
it out. Yeah. I need to wash myself off. I'm covered in blood. Don't want to risk the old infection and all that. Gosh. Oh dear me, let's not fall down the cliff either. There we go. Lovely. Get to the beach.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper, as old Arnold
That's-
Schwarzenegger would say.
Yeah, that's the. Is he still the governor of California?
Oh no, he's not been
moved
that
on.
for a while.
A long time. No.
Gosh, but indeed.
He's
There we go.
he likes bodybuilding, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
That's the
Traditionally,
thing.
that's what he was. Big bodybuilder in all his bodybuilding
Before he
films.
became an actor. Yeah.
Oop. Turtle sort of glitching out of the ground there. Do we have a turtle shell actually? Because we could maybe get one and make another water collector, which I think I'll do. Sorry, turtle, but you're going down.
Here's a
bitch.
question. Here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
If you were stranded on an island, okay, what do you think is the most important thing to be focusing on first between these 3 things?
Okay.
Shelter, food, or water? What do you think would be the most important to deal
okay.
with first?
So, little survival tip here. It's the kind of rule of 3 with this one. So
Yeah, I like to see where you're going with that one.
yeah, 'cause
Yes.
I think by the sound of it, you know where I'm going here. But
Yeah.
the idea is that it's something like you can survive 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 hours without sort of shelter/fire. In other words, heat and protection from the elements.
Yeah.
So I think, depending on the environment around you, that basically tells you what you need to prioritize. And so I think, given the 3 hours thing, in most cases, your first kind of priority should basically be getting either a shelter or probably better a campfire so that you've got heat.
Yeah. Food will
yeah.
always be last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, water is the next big one. I mean, there's a 4th one you could technically add to that list in some environments, which would be oxygen, which is like 3 minutes. But that's obviously not going to be the case in all places. So yeah. But yeah, that's like I say, I think I've read that somewhere. That it's the whole rule of 3 thing.
Rule of 3. Yeah, you have to.
Indeed.
How?
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking of the how. What's the word I'm looking for? That's the word. How competent do you think you would be if you were thrust into a survival situation like this? Let's say let's fit with the theme of the forest. Let's say you're stranded on an island like this with lots of forest and far away from anyone. As you can see, you can't call for help. You have to build like this main character's doing. How do you think you would cope? What would be your competency levels?
I don't think I would do very well, to be honest, because
No?
my actual real-life survival skills knowledge is pretty minimal. So I wouldn't really rate my chances personally.
Oh dear, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing is don't drink the water here. Seawater. Yeah.
Indeed. I was just seeing if there are any more turtles around, so in case I could get another shell, but it doesn't look like it. We'll keep our eyes peeled for those. But yeah, survival is, it's one of those things which everybody sort of thinks, I think, that, I'll be ready for it, but then you're actually thrust into the situation where, the slightest thing can fuck you over, and you realise just how nasty it actually could be. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, there's basic. I have certain. I've read kind of like survival guides and things like that before, which gives tips on things that you should do, things like that. But reading about them and then actually being able to do them, are two entirely separate things. And so that's why, if you were to ask me, do you think you could cope in an actual survival situation right here, right now, I would be very,
It's a very difficult and
yeah.
horrible situation.
It's hard to kind of
Yeah.
picture yourself in that kind of situation because it would be so kind of different to what you're used to that the only real way you'd know is to actually find yourself thrust in there, and you wouldn't actually want to be thrust into that
Oh,
in the
absolutely
first
not.
place.
Yeah. Oh
No,
God, can you just imagine that?
yeah,
Uh,
pretty bad. Yeah,
it's unthinkable, really.
yeah,
You want what to do.
indeed.
I think I'd be in the same boat as you. Yeah, I'd struggle as well, especially since unfortunately, I suffer from dyspraxia,
Really?
which means, yeah, it's difficult. For those who don't know, dyspraxia is difficulty to do practical things. So I find practical things doing, like, when you put like keys on a keychain, for instance, I find it so difficult.
Yeah, interesting. That. Yeah, actually, never knew that about you.
Yeah, when I used to live in Germany, I went to a place to try and help me get because I've got fine motor skills to try and help me with various different things to see if I could help. But I do struggle with practical things, things like doing things like that. And when I'm obviously clipping my fingernails or toenails, I can be there for a good hour and a half.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's especially since my left hand is not as fantastic as my right hand. So when I do it, cutting it off my right hand, for example,
Yeah.
I really do struggle. But yes, I can. I do have dyspraxia, and so some practical things I find really difficult. Like I just cannot put those little those little keychains with the where you can put the keys on the circular ring, so you can have
Yeah.
loads of keys on one thing. I really can't do that very well.
Yeah, I just think dyspraxia, obviously, along with dyspraxia, God damn it, completely
That
messed
was
that
good.
up.
That was good. That
Yeah.
was.
Oh yeah. Did I mention I'm dyslexic as well? No. But dyslexia and dyspraxia, of course, are the two, I think, conditions which, for a long time, I think people didn't really understand them very well. Because I remember, back in, stories, obviously, from back in our parents' day, back in the 60s, things like that, children with things like dyslexia or dyspraxia would often just get told that they were stupid. But obviously, as psychiatric and psychological science has gone on, we've realised actually no, that's not it at all. It is actually a recognised condition, and if you're going to ensure that people who are dyspraxic or dyslexic or whatever are actually going to have a good sort of quality of life, you need to make adjustments to things, just so that
Yeah. Well, I
it's
mean,
not unfair.
dyspraxia isn't really a mental health issue.
True,
It's
it's
just
not.
you have an
Yeah,
inability to do practical things very well.
yeah,
Now, what is weird is, because I'm obviously, that makes me a more theoretical person, is it took me 2 times to pass my theory driving test, but
yeah.
I passed my practical test on the first go.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know. I think it's because I got the easiest. Because in the practical driving test, you have to do. I think you have to do more now. Then, but in the practical driving test, you have to do one manoeuvre,
yeah,
and I got the easiest manoeuvre, which is the 3-point turn.
yeah.
I still struggle with because of the dyspraxia. It gives me. I've got spatial awareness issues as well. So when I drive my car out of like parking spaces, this is why I've never, since I passed my driving test, I have never reverse parked into a parking bay because I
All right.
just couldn't do it
Yeah.
because my spatial awareness is really bad. So I find it difficult when I come out of a car parking space, just the space around me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
am I going to hit that car? Am I going to? So I turn maybe a bit more. Later than usual, just to try and avoid the car I'm next to,
Indeed,
because I do
yeah.
have spatial awareness issues. So this is why I'm thinking of getting a new car, and I think I might get one with parking sensors.
Yeah, that's probably a
That would
good
be very
idea.
beneficial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My bad. I don't know why I called it a mental condition because it's not. I think I just didn't know what the right word was, so I said that. But yeah, I get what you mean exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think parking sensors probably would be very good because
Yeah,
my car
it will
has
help.
parking sensors. It sort of it bleeps once you start getting close.
On the front and back, yeah, it's better to have them on the front and back.
Yeah.
But I've heard that the driving test completely changed now. Instead of doing that one manoeuvre, you have to do a series of different manoeuvres, and
Yeah.
it's a lot harder. And obviously back when the parents, they didn't have the hazard perception test. That's obviously a new thing.
Yeah.
They
So
did
yeah,
that.
when I did it, obviously it was the theory, and that included the hazard perception thing, where you have to identify potential obstacles or hazards several seconds before the car reaches them. Obviously, there's the practical. I think one of the new additions as well is a one where the instructor gives the student like a destination or something, and the student just has to find their way there. I think that's something like what
Yeah,
it was.
I've also heard another one where they to
Yeah.
help with to get the understanding of the maintenance of the car, they
Mm,
would ask the student, so how do you do an oil change?
mm.
Yeah, how do you
Yeah,
check if
actually,
the
I think
oil's low?
yeah.
Yeah,
When I was doing mine, I think yeah they asked sort of similar questions to that about where's the water, things like that. Open the bonnet up and show me where this is.
yeah,
Just so
which is good.
yeah,
Which is good because
yeah,
so it gets you to grips. And I've heard as well for quite elderly people, there is a thing they have to retake the test again.
yeah. True, yeah.
Yeah,
Because obviously, as you get older, your ability to react to things can potentially get slower.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
mm,
But it was interesting. It's interesting that because of that I passed my practical first time.
yeah,
I passed my theory on the second go.
yeah. I think
Um,
with me, it was kind of sort of the other way around. I think I passed my theory first time. My practical, I actually was third time lucky for me.
oh
Um,
dear, what was it you failed on?
so first time round, basically I found out that I was short-sighted, and so I couldn't even take the test. So I had to
How
basically
did you
go.
not realise that?
It was one of those things which basically I just hadn't really thought about, and as a result, it just caught me out on the day.
Yeah, because of
Um,
course you have to do a test where you have to they put
20
you 20,
meters, yeah.
yeah, and you have to read a number plate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that was the first time. Second time, obviously, I was driving and I was doing really well, but then I just got very unlucky towards the end of it because as we were sort of driving along, we kind of turned a corner, came to a junction, and the sun was like right in my fucking eyes, and I literally almost could not see. And basically, as I was about to sort of turn, the instructor actually just pressed the brakes and just said, "No, not yet," because there's a car coming. And unfortunately, that counted as a major.
did you not think to put the sun visor down?
Well, I did, but I still was like struggling to fucking
Oh,
see. Yeah. And then it was the third time that I was lucky, and the third time was really good because I got only one minor. So yeah, I did fairly
yeah, I
well
think
on
I
that.
only got one minor. I think it was on. I got it on ancillary controls
Yeah.
because what happens? It's quite a cold day, and it started misting up on the windscreen,
Yeah.
and because I was driving my instructor's car, I'd forgotten where the demister was.
Oh God.
So I was going, oh shit, and I did, and
Mm.
eventually the instructor went, do you think maybe we should start thinking about putting the demisters on?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Indeed.
So I had a
Yeah.
little bit of a minor fail on
What
that, but
was?
I passed first
Yeah.
time.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, what was my minor that I got? I think it was. I think the minor for me was we came to a roundabout and technically there was a bus approaching from the right and the instructor was like it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day the bus still had a way to go before it reached, but he said maybe you could have stopped there, but it didn't really matter because there was still time to
Yeah.
get out. So he said it wasn't a major, it wasn't like you were you were doing something incredibly risky, you weren't.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
but he just said if there was one potential thing that I'd fault you for, it's just maybe you could have stopped just for that bus. But like I say, it wasn't a particular issue. It wasn't like the bus was, there was an imminent crash risk or anything like that. Yeah,
It's a jubilation as well when you get the certificate.
yeah,
Say you passed it, and then obviously a few weeks later in the post you actually get your driving license, full
yeah,
driving license, instead of the provisional one.
indeed.
Um, the I remember the as well. We did a bit of motorway driving because that was always the scariest bit. And
Yeah.
the first time I went onto the motorway, I actually went for a job interview in Leeds.
All right.
And
Yeah.
I was nervous as hell when I went onto the motorway. I was like, oh god,
True,
here we go.
yeah.
But it was fine. But you hardly ever, because you used to live with your parents, you never went on a motorway. I think the first time you went on a
Yeah.
motorway came with me to the radio station.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I never did like motorway driving as part of my tests or anything like that, or my driving instruction, and just never had any real reason to drive on motorways. Not until obviously that time when you started doing radio and I started joining you down there. But yeah, but ever since then, I've done a bit
What
of
did you
motorway
feel?
driving.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Well, that first time you came onto the motorway, because obviously you were just following me, and
Yeah.
what was your first sort of
Um,
thoughts as you went on? Because I know
I think
obviously,
motorway driving is one of those things which I think before you do it, it's kind of scary because you think all those vehicles, but actually when you do it, you realise that actually it's much more straightforward than you perhaps realise.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And let me just say, the motorway driving is the safest driving. It's the country road driving that's the most dangerous
yeah,
because of
definitely.
the windy turns and everything.
Yeah,
But no, it's and people go at fast speed around them as well.
indeed they
But
do.
no, it's the motorway driving that's the safest.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing, with motorways, obviously everyone's driving in the same direction, on at least on your sort of side of the road, and as a result of that, you just have to basically just keep an eye on your mirrors constantly, just so you
Yeah,
know where everyone else is, what they're doing, etc., etc. And then, as long as you do that, generally you're fine. Just don't drive wildly, basically. Just keep your mirror signal manoeuvre,
absolutely.
be
That's what you
aware
have
of
to
where
keep.
everyone
Check.
is. Yeah. That's the thing, as long as you can do that, it's fine. And if you've obviously got a passenger with you in your car, even better, because you can just ask them to be your extra pair of eyes to help, maybe try and cover any blind spots or whatever.
Oh, Andrew, good God, the amount of your nose.
I know, I keep
It's
saying
just
it.
it's just
Yes,
happening.
indeed.
I know
Yeah,
it's just constant.
yeah,
It is funny because they keep coming through. It's sort of trend among a lot of people. But yeah,
indeed.
so that and I remember because I think you were following me, weren't you? So
Yeah,
I decided to slow down a bit just to
yeah.
just help you out on your first go
The
on the
thing
motorway
is,
because
if you I've just said it again, if you're of course a first-time driver and you're going on the motorway for the first time, fucking hell, I just did it again. Um, what my personal advice would be: stick to the left-hand lane. Don't fuck. Good lord, how do I keep saying it? Good God.
I think it's just like sort of common practice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it has. It's something that I just do constantly. Oh, I just hit my shelter by accident when I was trying to hit those birds, but never mind. But yeah, stick to the left-hand lane. Don't feel the need to overtake anything if you're not comfortable with doing so. That can come later when you're feeling a bit more confident. Because obviously in the left-hand lane, that's typically the one where you'll be going at just a fairly constant speed because of trucks and whatever else have you.
Yeah, because trucks are not allowed to exceed 60 on the
Yeah,
motorway,
exactly. There you go.
whereas everyone else can move at various different speeds. You should always be in the left lane anyway, according to the highway code, because the
Yeah,
other two lanes are for overtaking, really, but
indeed.
people do stay in those lanes.
Yeah, lane
And
hogs.
especially, yeah, well, you've got the middle lane hoggers, which are the most annoying.
Yeah,
But now, obviously, because you have to use a motorway, there's no other way to get from
true.
Swindon all the way back up to see your parents up north.
No. So yeah, I mean, if the only alternatives to driving on the motorway here would be to take a train to somewhere like Bristol and then get another train up north or something
Yeah.
like that, which obviously is just not particularly practical.
Yeah, it's
So
better to
yeah.
have cars as
Or
well.
alternatively, get a train from here to somewhere like London Paddington, then get the tube to London Euston, then get the train up north. But again, it's just you'd have to make so many changes and you'd spend a lot of money. It's just easier to go by car, even if it is a
Car
long,
is
long
mostly
drive.
easier with
Yeah,
many things. Yeah,
indeed.
yeah. Obviously, other forms of transport are useful,
Yeah.
especially if you don't want to go up there and park. You can just use a train or
What just makes it annoying though when you're driving from down here back up north is the amount of roadworks there are at the moment in places like Stafford and in Birmingham because of the fact that there's like smart motorway upgrades going on. It just slows everything down
yeah. There is a
significantly.
lot of roadworks. There's a
Yeah,
lot of roadworks going on the on our roads today. Obviously, the one near Manchester, the M60,
yeah,
is that they're undergoing a smart motorway revamp.
indeed, yeah,
But it's a fun thing. It gives you your independence.
it does.
Learning to drive. So for those who are starting to learn to drive, you've got viewers who are starting, definitely keep at it. I know because obviously you'll be having lessons, and the lessons are the best place. There's no better place to learn them from a driving instructor. They'll have all the ins and outs and tidbits and little facts that you'll need to know.
Bits and bobs. Yeah,
I remember on the first when I first had driving lessons, we obviously only went round like there was like an estate.
yeah,
You just do that to start with. You just go around an estate, and then you'll actually start. Maybe in your second lesson, you'll start to go on the main road.
indeed, yeah. So there you go. Yes, just general advice, really. Driving. I think it's one of those things. The more you practice, the quicker you'll get the hang of it. I do think.
And do it with your as well as doing the driving instructor. Do it with someone who obviously
Oh
because
yeah,
you'll
yeah,
you have to be had 3 years driving experience and be over 21.
yeah.
Yeah, to you, and you have to have L plates on your car
Indeed.
as well, just so you
Yes.
can find it. but it's fun driving. It's some people don't like it. I understand. Some people find it scary. You know, you're in this big metal box,
Yeah,
and you can have. But fatality rates are not that huge for
they're not.
cars.
No.
Obviously, you do get things like car crashes, but that's usually from silly beggars.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and you can just go anywhere and anything. And the
Yeah.
only issue is parking.
Yeah.
Parking can be a nightmare in some places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My advice, for drivers is, keep to the speed limit. And when I say keep to speed, I don't mean just exceeding. I mean actually get up to it as well. And just don't be an idiot, basically. Don't be an aggressive driver. Even if you're prone to a bit of road rage, just keep it together. Don't
Yeah, I
start.
remember in one of your See Being Hunted videos, the drivers I hate video.
Oh, God, yeah.
About the ones that are driving really slowly below the speed limit, and then you go to overtake them, and then they suddenly speed up.
I know.
Oh,
So
why
annoying.
the fuck do you do that?
I know. Now
Piss
you
off.
want to speed
I know.
up. Yeah.
Just don't do that. Yeah,
It's so
I know.
annoying. It
I
just
can
grinds
understand.
your gears.
I was with you on that one.
Yeah.
I was with you on that one. Yeah, I don't know why the people. What are you trying to do? Race me?
Exactly.
You know,
It's just terrible, really.
there are some annoying drivers out there that do things like that. You know, they're silly, then they start speeding.
Yeah.
Really,
Oof, man. But yeah, like I say, it's just a matter of just don't be an idiot. Basically, it just makes things so much more easier.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw one person who was speeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they zoomed past the speed camera, and I think I actually saw the speed camera flash.
Good.
In,
Yeah. That's what you want to see, really. Someone get their kind of comeuppance in that regard. Yeah.
Well, you pay a fine or you go to a speed awareness course.
Yeah,
So you choose but they're both expensive.
they are. Yes.
So save yourself some time and keep your speed at the speed you should be going. If it says 30, what are you doing going at 45?
Indeed. Oh lordy. But I suppose you'll always get idiots on the road. There's not really much you can do about it. You just have to keep your wits about you and just be prepared to react fairly quickly to what they're doing if necessary.
Oh, I'm rushing because I'm late to my. I was going to see my friend and I'm late to his house.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let's think about this. A, you can be late to your friend's house, or B, you can be horribly mutilated in a hospital.
Yeah,
because you've had a horrible car crash.
Indeed.
Or you could even be dead.
Exactly.
Yeah. Save yourself some time. Tell your friends you're going to be late and avoid, being in hospital or dead.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it at the end, is it?
It's not. No, it's not worth it at all.
But yes, I'm thinking of getting a new car. For the moment,
Yeah.
I've got a 2010 car. What year's your car?
Shit, what year is my car? I'd have to look at the document just to remind myself what it was. I can never remember off the top of my head.
You don't need to look at the document. You just need to look at your number plate.
Oh, right. It's 16. So whatever. I don't know. I can't even remember. Feel like I remember. I need to.
Bloody hell! Do you not know how number plates work?
I do know my number plate, but I don't want to say it out loud. That's all.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you don't want
I
to
don't
give
want to.
people.
Yeah. True.
But I'm wanting to get a more up-to-date car with parking sensors. That's one thing. And I was thinking of an inbuilt entertainment system
Ooh.
as well.
Yeah.
Because there's some latest cars and an inbuilt sat nav. I'd like that as
Oh,
well.
yeah, sat nav. Yeah, definitely.
Something. Having a look at the 2013 to 2017 type cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be
Sounds good.
be good.
I'm
Think
just
about that.
collecting rocks at the moment because there's not really much else I can do at night. But
I know
probably
it's very dark.
Yeah, I can't really sleep in my shelter at the moment. Last time I checked, because unless I can do it now, unless it's cooled down. Oh, it's cooled down. That's good. Let's sleep off the night. There we go.
Here's another question for you since we're on the topic. Our topic today has been driving and driving related stuff.
Yeah.
What do you find the worst thing or the most boring thing about driving? Is there anything you don't like? I know sometimes if you've got like a long trip, for example, and you're on the motorway, it can be quite dull and just being on the motorway all the time if you've got like a 6-hour trip or something, so you can feel a bit sleepy and all that.
I think, for example, driving through the roadworks, basically in places like Birmingham, is fucking dull as hell, just because of how slow it is.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Birmingham, I think with Birmingham at one point it was 30 miles an hour through it, but they've taken it up to 40 now. But that's still relatively slow for a motorway. Yeah. And with like Stafford, for example, it's 50 miles an hour, or whatever it is, for about 15 or 20 miles or whatever. which
Yeah,
it just ends up making the journey just take a long time. That's all.
it can be dull. I have heard, which is really good. On Australian highways, they actually have because it's so dull. They have every couple of miles signs that sometimes give you funny jokes or bits of trivia. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they have like signs with bits of trivia on it, like "Did you know the koala bear does this, that, and the other?" And
Keep you
that's really
entertained.
good. It keeps people, keeps
Yeah.
people awake. But another sort of PSA for people: if you've got a long journey and you're starting to feel a bit tired, then
Yeah.
definitely get yourself to your next service
Oh
station.
yeah, definitely.
Get on there, have a nice break, because you should have a break. Is it every 2 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? Have a break.
It's
Yeah.
For truck drivers, it's a legal requirement. You have to
Yeah.
have a break every 2 hours.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
have a break. Get up. Get up, stretch your legs. That's what you need to do. Go to the toilet. Maybe get some food because all service stations have food. Maybe if you're feeling a bit, down, get a drink.
Yeah.
That'll make you up.
Take a break. Have a Kit Kat. There we are.
That's it. Oh, I do like
The
a Kit
old
Kat.
slogan. There you go. Yes.
I've
Ah,
just noticed actually that Kit Kat have released a new flavour over here
have they?
that I just saw in the shops. Kit Kat Gold.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
not
it's
seen
sort of
that
got
one.
like a gold sort of covering like the. Have you heard of the McVitie's Gold bars? Sort
Yes.
of McVitie's got. Yeah, they're styled like that.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Um,
Indeed. So maybe I'll have to try and pick one up at some point and see what it's
yeah,
like.
saw it. Good to have. My favourite chocolate bar at the moment, which I just can't get enough of, the double decker.
Oh, double deckers.
Oh,
Not had one
yeah, I
of them
think it's
for a
because
while. They
they
are
actually
good.
know how to fill it full of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Indeed.
double deckers, and you have to get the middle variety because they have three varieties of double decker. You get the one in the multi pack,
Yeah.
which is quite small. You get the medium variety, which you see normally on a shelf and then you get the double decker duo, which is quite a big one. That one's a bit too big, and the one in the multi packs are a bit too small. So if you just get the ones that are single hanging out on the shelves, those are the right size. They're properly good as well. They've got
Yeah.
because it's just stuff full of various different flavourings. And not only that, but Double Decker have now introduced a spread
Indeed.
as well that you can have for your toast,
Oh,
and also
yes.
an ice cream
Oh.
as well as a Double Decker ice cream in a similar style to like Ben and Jerry's. I bet that's going to be mega.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Ben and Jerry's, yeah, they do nice ice cream.
I've not had ice cream in a while. I need to maybe get myself a tub of it. Just a nice tub.
No, don't get a tub. I'll recommend one for you.
Go ahead.
Get Nestle Extreme ice cream. They're called. They come in three varieties. They're the cone, like Cornetto.
Oh right, yeah.
They come in those form, and there's three varieties of them. Oh my god, they're so good. The first one, there is a raspberry with there's what is it? A raspberry with sort of double cream.
Oof, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a salted caramel and white chocolate.
Ooh, now that sounds good.
Yeah, and then there's the gooey chocolate fudge, which is chocolate ice cream with little almond pieces on top, and then a gooey chocolate sort of interior.
That sounds good.
Just sort of spills out. Yeah. Now the gooey chocolate
Yeah.
for the other two, the salted caramel and the raspberry one, you can get in any supermarket. However, the gooey chocolate fudge one you can only get in Sainsbury's.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
buy it. It's called Nestle Extreme
I'll have to check it
ice
out.
cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So try the salted caramel one, raspberry one, and the gooey chocolate fudge. I recommend those. Oh my god, they're so good, so good, unbelievable. So
Oh,
next
here
time
we
you
go.
see them in the supermarket, grab one.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just hanging my meat up on this drying rack to try and. Oh, no.
Get-
Okay, I just
Oh,
hung up my
good arm.
human
Oh, no,
arm. Okay,
cannibal.
and another arm and legs by the looks of it. I didn't want to. Can I not put the small meat on the rack? Or
No,
apparently
clearly.
not. Okay, well, never mind. I'm just going to take those off because I don't want them on there. Never mind. Right, that's good. Well, they can dry out and that'll be fine, I think.
On your drying rack.
Yes. Gosh, reminds me
Smoke
of Don't
it.
Starve.
Oh yeah,
Dry
now
racks
that's
in there.
something you haven't played in a while, is
I
it?
know, yeah.
Starve.
Yeah, I'd love to play Don't Starve together. That's why we need to get you back on Steam, Phil.
No, not going to happen.
Oh dear, dearie me. That's not what we want to hear now, is it?
Don't starve together.
Yes.
Was there a DLC for that?
There's been actual multiple DLCs for Don't Starve.
Oh, right.
There was
Oh, I wasn't
Reign
aware
of
of that.
Giants. There was Shipwrecked. I think there's one called Don't Starve Hamlet, but I don't know a lot about that.
Okay, there's a fair few.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, that's another game which I played a long, long time ago. So no doubt there've been tons of updates to it.
Yeah, you
to
did
change
play
it
that
up.
quite a while ago.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be huge updates.
There we
Because
go.
it's I remember the Forest was in an alpha stage for ages,
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was. Yeah,
Like the Long Dark, that was in an alpha stage for ages.
yeah.
They eventually got it released to its full form, and it's a cracking little game, as I said at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go. Putting my lizard armor on, or lizard scales. Somehow that protects you, apparently, in this game.
it's not going to provide much protection, is it?
No,
Really?
it's not. It's the issue there, Phil. Yes.
Um,
Right, so if I've got lots of sticks, let's go back over here and see if we can put that lizard meat on the drying rack as well. Oop.
we are getting thirsty warnings.
Yes, I am. That's the thing. The problem is it's not rained much, so I'm trying to build up a ton of water collectors. So that,
Yeah,
I've got
to get water, because of course you can't drink the seawater.
no,
It'd be
can't.
very bad for you.
There we go. Put that lizard on there.
Water everywhere, and not a drop to drink.
No, indeed. Right. Let's see now. A bit more sticks. No, we've got more maximum sticks. Unless there's any more turtles that have shown up, in which case I'll try and get another water collector set up. You know, you can never have too many water collectors, Phil.
Yeah. You can never have too many water collectors.
Indeed.
I was just talking to my dad, by the way, because
Alright.
you remember we were planning a holiday.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he was saying, because I was saying, oh, it might be because of obviously the coronavirus, it might be difficult now to do it this year. He was like, well, you might be okay to still, because obviously it will get cold. But he said
Yeah.
you might be able to still do it in August time. It'll still be warm then.
Possibly, yeah.
So you never know. So it could be an option.
Could be, yeah.
August time. Yeah.
Here we go, Phil. There's some more turtles en route. That's it. Come to me,
I mean,
turtles.
I know, I can't believe you kill them. They've come to spawn their babbies,
I know.
but no, instead you're going to murderalise
Yeah.
them.
Poor things just come on to spawn babbies, as Phil says, not realising there's a red here intent on committing turtle genocide.
I know.
Yep, yes,
Such a shame.
indeed.
Such a shame.
Just hovering over them with my axe. Boom, there we go. Oh dear. Oh dearie me, there, Phil. Ugh, bloody. Give me that turtle shell. There we are. I think items don't really despawn, so if we kill a few more of them, maybe sort of get the shells at least, so we can come back and
You
pick
better
them
make
up.
sure they don't despawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. So I notice whenever I sort of kill one of them, the other ones then sort of temporarily disappear. Okay, just
Right.
leave that
Oh,
there
do
for
they?
now. Yeah, it's a bit strange. Turtle genocide is in full effect.
Like
full
your
effect here, Phil.
face.
Yes, exactly like my face. Bonk. Oop. Bonk. There
It
we
must
go.
be difficult for you recently, because of course you usually would come back here for Easter, but you haven't been able to.
I haven't been able
and
to,
so it's
no.
to come and see your parents, obviously.
Yeah,
Um,
visit family and all that, but it's not happening at the moment. Yes, yes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they ease up the restrictions, then I'll be able to come up sometime over summer, hopefully.
yeah,
And it'll be
yeah.
good.
I think the restrictions are going to be eased. I've heard
Yeah.
next week,
Indeed.
potentially.
Well, I hope so. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, this coronavirus will certainly be a thing to tell our kids and grandkids
Yeah.
in the future.
Indeed
Yeah,
it has.
I mean, just when you're there, sitting on your old rocking chair, go, back in my day, I remember March, April, and May of 2020. Those were the
yeah.
days where we got hit by a worldwide pandemic.
Oh,
The
man,
old
yes.
COVID-19. Why is it COVID-19?
I don't know.
Where's COVID 1 to 18?
I have no idea. Is no. I was about to say 19. I don't know. Is that a year? But no, it wouldn't be.
Is it the
It's
strain?
2020. Could
No, it'll be
yeah.
the strain. It'll be the strain of the
Yeah.
virus.
I have no idea
I'll tell
how
you
they name
I'll tell you
diseases.
what. I'll tell you what. The bloody Chinese owe us some takeaway after this.
Takeaway. Yeah.
Bloody hell, Wuhan! You fucked us completely over.
Yes. That's the thing, though. Is that China
You-
is trying to make political capital out of this, even though it started in their country. It was like, come on.
Well,
people.
what they need to do is they need to find that side alley where that seafood market was, and they need to set it on bloody fire. That's what they need to do. I think
Yeah.
that seafood market where it was, that alley where it all started, has got to be shut down. If not shut down, it's got to be incinerated to the ground.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do it, as soon as it's lifted, I'm going to fly to Wuhan, find that seafood market, and I'm going to buy somehow a rocket launcher and a flamethrower and just blow it to high heaven.
Damn. Bloody hell. You heard it here, then, everybody.
Yeah.
Phil is now seafood market terrorist. Deary me.
God, it's just crazy the
It
way
is.
it does. Because I remember us in in December going, turn on the news. Oh no, there's this horrible virus hit Wuhan, and we're like, all right, and then just okay, that's the
Yeah.
news for today. Turn it off. Little did we know, in a couple of months' time, the whole world got affected by it.
Indeed, yeah.
I know, crazy.
Just what makes it worse is the fact that obviously the Chinese government initially tried to cover it up. It's like the doctor who reported
Did
it.
they?
Yeah, it's like the doctor who reported it basically got arrested, and it's like then eventually it got to a point where it was clear to the rest of the world that something was going on, and so it was like okay, they had to basically climb down and admit,
Yeah.
yep, there's a disease outbreak here. Damn, I got so many water
I
collectors
think
now.
it spread because there was that one guy who was probably infected with it from Wuhan who decided to get onto a plane and travel somewhere.
Yeah,
Because you could see as it started to hit, because we were going China, 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 and then all of a sudden Italy, Italy, France, Italy, Italy, Spain, Spain, Italy, Spain, Italy, Spain, then the UK,
indeed.
UK, and then obviously it's now all the way in the US and
Yeah. But such is the nature, I think, of our globalised world and all that. Yeah.
yeah,
Cheap air travel and whatever else have you. It's just one of those risks which is attendant with this system.
yeah, and it's just such a shame because all of these people who have been fined, obviously people have been killed by it,
Yeah.
um, and care workers and things like that. That's why you've got to say good job to the NHS workers who've worked so bloody hard,
Indeed, yeah.
worked their bloody socks off.
You done the
To try.
8 o'clock Thursday clapping and all that? Yeah.
I haven't actually done that yet. No, I should take part in
Yeah.
that. Maybe I'll do
Same
it next
here.
Thursday.
Should really, yeah, just show a bit of gratitude.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is you live in an apartment, so you walk out your window, bang. Oh.
Yeah. Walk out my window. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good to do that. But not just them, obviously. Delivery drivers,
Yeah,
supermarket
true.
workers. Got to think of them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I
They
wouldn't
have
want
to
to be
carry
a
on.
supermarket worker at this time, just
No.
because obviously so many stories of tensions and things just running high, people getting stressed, taking it out on the workers and all that.
They're recruiting like mad, aren't they?
Yeah,
To be delivery drivers and things like that.
you need them. Yeah,
Like Domino's are still going, funnily enough.
Yeah.
They're still going, but they've got a reduced menu
Yeah.
at the moment. But they are still going. How do the delivery drivers work? Do they just come up and leave the stuff on your doorstep and then ring your
So
bell
I
and then back
think,
away?
there's like different options that you can use with delivery drivers. You can sort of give messages to say maybe like if you tell them not to kind of come into the porch or whatever, but just to put the thing down, maybe on the doorstep, and then you will put the money somewhere for them to pick up.
Yeah, but that's an
Somewhere.
issue. What happens if you've ordered loads of groceries and they come in like
True.
like 6-7 bags worth?
Well, I don't. I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
I mean, it can make sense with like Domino's because they could just leave your pizza on the porch.
Yeah.
You come out, pick up the pizza, put it on the side, and then put the money on the porch, and you close the door, and they come
yeah.
pick it up. Oh, that's if you do it cash. If it's done by card, then it's piece of Oh yeah, sorry, I don't think Domino's are doing cash payments because of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just card payments only. So they would just come up to the door, probably leave the pizza on the floor there, and then ring your doorbell.
Indeed.
And then they'd probably retreat to the end of the driveway and go, "There's your pizza,"
Aye. Yeah.
and leave. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah. But you got to give them consideration because they're still going through this, and because I know that some takeaways are closed, but they're still offering delivery because obviously got like Just Eat, Deliveroo, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So they'll be using those, and the place will actually be shut.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I think
Got to
yes.
feel sorry for those employees who not only get some of them who are getting furloughed, but some who might be potentially getting made redundant.
Yeah, that's big issue really, because again, it just comes back to those kind of economic consequences. It's going to affect things. It's just
Absolutely,
unfortunate.
yeah. Because the little stores have to shut, and obviously airline pilots and all that, and staff have been put away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put away in the boxes.
that's right. It's such a shame, but it's doing it to protect, isn't it?
Yeah. One of those unenviable situations where you just have to do it. and
Are
deal
your
with the fallout
supermarkets
afterwards.
still low on tin stuff and toilet paper?
They've not been so bad. the last
Oh, that's good.
few weeks. They've sort of stabilised. I mean, they've obviously put in place the limits to how much you can buy at any one time. So it's like limited to 3 units at a time or whatever.
I mean,
Um,
me and you, we both live on our own. So three
yeah,
packs of toilet paper. I think I don't think we
excessive.
quite need that. Yes,
No.
one pack's certainly
Yes.
fine enough. Yeah, I've experienced that. But what I've experienced as well, which is really weird, I don't know if it's a thing with a supermarket, but like the other day, like today, actually, today's a fantastic example. I went to Asda this morning.
All right.
Okay, humongous queue. Right, the queue was right
Yeah.
the way around, right the way out the door, and then round the corner. So I decided scrap that, and I went over to Morrison's. Okay,
Yeah.
no queue,
Oh,
not a queue
funny you
inside.
say that. Yeah, because I went to
Why is that
Sainsbury's on
happening?
Thursday, and yeah, there's basically no queue, and yet other times I've been there, it's been a huge queue. I think it's just sometimes people don't come out. I guess it might
Well,
be something to do with the
that
weather
must
as
be
well.
saying something about the shop, surely, because if Asda's got a massive queue and Morrison's doesn't, maybe not many people like going to Morrison's.
It might. I don't know. It could be all kinds of factors. I mean, obviously Asda, I think generally they do sort of cheaper prices than Morrison's. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah. So if you're trying to buy things in bulk of the two of them, Asda would probably be your first choice. But also, I think sometimes it can just come down to maybe weather, things like that.
yeah. Well, if
People,
that's the case,
yeah,
I haven't seen any queues outside Lidl and Aldi. Gee, yeah.
odd.
It's
Yeah,
it's just the case. It's
yeah,
yeah, like you say, some days you can get huge queues. Some days there's just no one there. You can just go straight in.
yeah. There's really no way of knowing. I think you'd have to sort of go there day in day out and just monitor the queues in order to try and work out what the common pattern or thread is or whatever.
But it's dependent on the people in the shop as well.
Yeah, true.
Because
Yeah,
always trying to limit the people in the shop, aren't they?
yeah.
Because it's like a one in, one out policy.
Do you ever get this sometimes when you're queuing outside the supermarkets? People leaving massive gaps of like freaking 5 meters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because sometimes it's unnecessary. Sometimes some of the gaps they
it
leave.
is. Yeah, or like people just paying attention to their phone and not looking at the fact that the queue's moving along, and you think, "Come on, move."
What was
Deary
really
me.
annoying, which is a bit cheeky of someone, there's
Really?
I was going for a walk.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was going past close to this old couple. I was just trying to walk past. I was looking at the lake basically because
Yeah.
it's near a lake. And this couple came behind me and went, "Excuse me,"
Right.
and I said, "Excuse me, could you move back, please?"
Right.
And I was like, I moved back a bit. No, could you just go a little bit further, please? I was like, "Fucking hell, I don't have the coronavirus."
Yeah.
Stop getting so paranoid and
Some
panicky.
people, yeah, you
Yeah.
hear little stories like some people just they do get paranoid and they sort of end up almost policing everyone else over it. It's like you are not the police. Shut up.
It's
I'm
really funny
waiting,
because
yeah.
when I go for a walk and I go past people, I like sometimes they just go and take a wide loop
Yeah.
around me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think well, just maintaining the physical distancing, I guess, and all that. But
yeah,
indeed, because
that's what you get, I suppose. But I just
Yeah.
thought that was little bit on the cheeky side. Can you move back, please? No, a
know.
bit further, please.
Yeah. I mean, there's ones of people just. Yeah, I don't know. You always get the busybodies in life. I think the ones who sort of a bit people who are just bossy as out and think they can tell everyone else what to do. Not much you can
Oh,
do about
God.
that other than just ignore
Oh
them.
God, do you get those kinds of people?
Yeah.
I know. Tell
You
me
do.
about it. They can be damn annoying.
They can.
Just like, sorry, you're not the police, so stop telling me what to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh God, I know. You usually just ignore them and just move on.
What you should do is just to trick someone. As you're walking past them, go, "Oh, I feel a bit hot all of a sudden."
Oh dear, yes. Oh man, I'm feeling a bit feverish.
Yeah.
Deary me. Yeah. But one thing that is just annoying are people. I don't know. I remember there was once a story of a guy who I think this is in the early stages of the pandemic, who basically he was getting on a plane, and this guy was like a social media influencer or something, and he suddenly had this silly idea. What would happen if I suddenly said I had coronavirus right here, right now, whilst this plane is in mid-flight? And he did that, and of course the plane had to turn around, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, jokes.
Oh.
I didn't have it. I just did it for the clicks." And he's like,
Oh,
"How much of a
God.
douche can you be?"
Oh God, come on
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I know.
It's a
It's
very
just like,
serious pandemic. Yeah.
yeah. and you're kind of delaying people's flights and just being a general ass about it.
Yeah.
I know. It's God. There's always people. Oh, looks like we got a thunderstorm in
Oh,
the
that was
forest here.
cool. That was
Yeah.
a cool little flash there.
Oh, it's raining. This finally means my water collectors are all going to start filling
We'll start
up, which
working.
is good.
Yeah.
Finally. Which is why I built so many of them, because the problem is the rain.
It's a shame
doesn't
people
come
act
very
like
often.
that.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like oh god, the people who may say they've got a bomb when they're in an airport.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. That reminds me of that one Egyptian guy that one time who claimed he had a bomb just so he could get the plane to turn round back to somewhere else.
Oh,
Just so he could
God.
get off somewhere. Yeah.
More douchebaggery.
I know. It's just so silly.
Were you wiping some spit off your monitor then?
Yeah, there's like a little mark on the monitor. I was just testing it with my finger. But yeah, it wasn't.
Making sure that pixel hadn't gone loose.
Indeed. Knock it back into shape, eh? And all that. Okay, right. I've been recording for a fair while there, I think. It's
Good
been
chunk. Yes, I think
yeah.
it's time to bring this nice sort of podcasty episode to a close while doing some
Indeed.
forest work. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we've talked about a range of topics. We've talked about driving and driving related topics. We talked about the coronavirus. We've talked about at very start. Very start. So we talked about survival stuff.
Indeed.
So sort of survival. Then it was driving. Then it was coronavirus.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
we've had a wide range of topics being discussed today.
It's been very good, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So, hope you all enjoyed it then, everybody. So, this has been another little relaxing session here in the forest with myself and Phil. Obviously, if you want to see more of this game, just let us know. And, when we get a chance, when the wheel picks it out again, we'll, try and do some more.
Come back.
Yeah.
Go. Yes, certainly so.
So, Facebook and Twitter links down below, as usual, along with Propagandist channel link if you're interested in that. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and maybe share my content with your friends on social media and all that. But in the meantime, this is the two of us signing off now. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
I know you're there. I know you're there. Go on, do your worst. There you are. Oh my God. That is not... I did jack shit to that. Oh, bloody hell. No. Quick, weapon. Hit. He's gone. He's dead. That was a waste of an RPG round, but never mind. There he is. They don't actually do much damage, do they? With each shot. I think it's just going to loop around all over the place. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! No! Don't you fire your bees at me!